Big Baby Miller failed his test due to consuming 0.3 of a nanogram of GW1516.
Hi, this is Joe Cortez. You're watching ShowBizz, the adult.
Oh, this is Bernard Hopkins, ShowBizz, the adult. I'm out.
Oh, breaking news, exclusive news. Whoops, up off net. Up off net. What's up, my people? This is ShowBizz, the adult. All right, man, look. So, Big Baby Miller, he didn't cheat? Question mark? Oops. All right, man, look. Let's get to this exclusive news. First, I want to say this. We have been provided exclusive news to this community by extremely reliable sources. The reason why we have been provided with this exclusive news is because this community has proven to be able to handle big news like this and have a respectable, at least well-balanced outlook on the sport of boxing. Thanos, Black to Sugars. So first, I want to say thank you to this community for being such a great community of respecting boxing. And also thank you to our sources for trusting us to be able to handle this information. Black Two Sugars. Okay, so let's jump right into it. We all know Big Baby Miller. His last fight was canceled. When was, I think the fight was scheduled for July 9th or something like that. That fight was canceled because he failed his drug test. His drug test has shown to be positive for having the banned substance of GW1516. So he failed the test. Big Baby Miller consumed GW1516. Now, what is GW1516? How does it benefit an athlete? It's a substance that helps with weight cutting. It helps with muscle recovery, and it helps muscle building. So it helps with strength and conditioning as well. And when consumed by an athlete, it gives them an edge, okay? Making it no fair to consume GW1516 when you have a sporting event that you will be participating in, let alone a combat sport, okay? So Big Baby Miller, he failed for consuming GW1516. Now, we do know that Big Baby Miller is a repeat offender, okay? He failed for having a cocktail of PEDs, including GW1516, in his scheduled bout against Anthony AJ Joshua. There he failed, he was suspended. Now for the fight that was canceled July 9th, he was temporarily suspended. Here's where the rubber meets the road, and here's where Big Baby Miller may not have actually cheated and purposely consumed GW1516 for an edge. In order to benefit from consuming GW1516, it's recommended that you consume 10 milligrams to 20 milligrams of GW1516. According to the information given to us exclusively, when it comes to Big Baby Miller's test results, Big Baby Miller failed his test due to consuming 0.3 of a nanogram of GW1516. Let's break this down. Let's break this down. A nanogram is 1 billionth of a gram, meaning there are 1 billion nanograms in a gram. To benefit from GW1516, you should consume 10 to 20 milligrams. Now, there is 1,000 milligrams in a gram. So there are 1 million nanograms in 1 milligram. Big Baby Miller had 0.3 of 1 nanogram of GW1516 in his system, which caused the failed results. meaning that the amount of GW1516 in his body, especially his body, because he's a huge man, okay? The amount found in his body would not be able to benefit his performance whatsoever. It was too minute. So what can we take from this information? So Big Baby Miller said in his conversation with Jeremy Harridges on Fight Network that he feels he knows the source of his GW1516 intake. And his consumption of GW1516 was accidental. Now, has this happened before when it comes to GW15 specifically? Yes, it happened to a professional CrossFit athlete named Kelly Holm. Kelly Holm consumed 0.2 of 1 nanogram of GW1516 and she failed. And she was suspended for 4 years. Come to find out that her source of GW1516 came from a pre-workout that she was consuming. Now, how does that happen? Aren't the ingredients listed on the label? Well, this happens when you are consuming something with proprietary blends, when you have a mix. Proprietary blends has a bunch of compounds in it. That's why they call it proprietary blend or proprietary mix, proprietary ingredients. And just like what happened with John Jones, he was taking a legal supplement that had a proprietary blend. So he failed his drug test and he was almost suspended again for 2 years. But they found that the amount of the banned substance he consumed was so minute that he couldn't have done it on purpose. Which takes us back to Big Baby Miller. If we approach this with a common sense approach, I don't think any of you would feel that Big Baby Miller took 30% of a nanogram of GW1516 purposely for an edge. So the question is, what do we do with this information? How do we move forward? Well, Big Baby Miller, he has a hearing, I think August 5th. So we're not on this channel going to jump to too many conclusions or reveal too much information because they have their hearing August 5th. But here's my take on the situation. I think one of 3 things must occur. Remember when Canelo Alvarez failed his test for clenbuterol? And we found that the amount of clenbuterol that he took was so minute and it was consistent with that of consuming tainted meat, that they allowed Canelo Alvarez to continue with his career after a short suspension. And the WBC went even further in changing the baseline of the test, meaning they increased the threshold of amount of clenbuterol found before failing a test. And I think that was the appropriate thing to do. So I think one of the options is for the testing to change. The baseline can't be at 0. If you leave the threshold, the baseline at 0, we're going to have a lot of these athletes with asterisks next to their careers because they failed for consuming things that they didn't purposely consume for an edge. Option 2, which I think is a very brilliant option, is leave the decision up to the opponent of the guy who popped dirty. When you test for a very minute level of banned substance, maybe the decision should be left to the team of who you're facing to see if you're going to have that fight, if that fight will carry on. Why? Because if you think of Danny Jacobs versus ShowBizz Jr., ShowBizz Jr. skipped the drug testing altogether. And Eddie Hearn, he moved the fight to Phoenix. And then ShowBizz didn't make weight. So the fight could have been canceled, but they left it up to Danny Jacobs. Do you want to continue with this fight or no? Danny Jacobs' team said, let's continue with the fight. So I think that is an approach that should be considered since we've done this before. And here's option 3. Can they prove that Big Baby Miller actually consumed more of GW1516, but was cycling off of it and still popped dirty? Now, if they can prove that, that's a horse of a different color. And we'll figure that out during the hearing come August. As of right now, with the information that we've received in this community, I'm leaning towards the side of Big Baby Miller not actually purposely consuming GW1516 for an edge? Let me know how you feel in the comments below. ShowBizz the Adult. I would love to hear your comments on this. I think this is a very respectable community, and I respect all of my show business partners. I think this is worth the conversation. Boxing is definitely a dangerous sport. And these athletes should be held accountable. But at the same time, do you think there's something that should be done with these tests as far as changing the thresholds and stuff like that? Because nutrition and science has really been, I mean, just making these huge changes, okay? And a lot of people feel it's changes for the better. But what these athletes have been consuming are things with proprietary blends that can cause for a failed PED test. I'm out.